folks, Tim Votapka here, and it's October already. I am here with our president, Roger Cartee, enjoying what looks like it might be a rainy afternoon on Saturday. What's today? October 7th. Oh my, weren't we just doing
Already.
this? Oh, holy moly. So, Roger, it's good to see you here. Thank you for coming in. This is a very special episode of Around Salem. A little melancholy because it's probably the last one before we all close down our camps. But it'll only be 6 or 7 months before we're back here. Anyway, so let's pick it up from where we left off. Last time we got together, it was the fall. As I recall, we were talking about some milestones that we had going on. We've obviously had meetings. We've been in touch. We've seen each other and all that. But in the very early stages of this year, we were talking about some major targets that we had going on here at Salem. We were talking about milfoil being a big, 800-pound gorilla and the behemoth that it was. So let's chat about that. I'm going to open it to you and say, looking at it now compared to where we were in January of this past year, how do you feel we did in target-wise?
Well, I think we did very well. I think the biggest problem was getting the permit taken care of because you know how government works sometimes. They're not always the fastest people to get things done, and it took us a while to get the permit and to cross the T's and dot the I's. You think you get it all done and say, oh, you forgot something in section 12C, and so you go back and you keep checking that kind of stuff. And so we finally got that put together, and the milfoil committee did a great job in getting that finished and organized and into the state. And we managed to get our permit in time to put the Priscilla in the lake, which is what was our main goal. We wanted to make sure we didn't get it too late so that it would have a full effect on the plants. So everything worked out very well. A lot of anxious moments and wringing of hands, but that goes along with the territory. You're looking at all these things you've got to do and trying to make sure you cover everything, and it worked out very well. And everybody was watching out for everybody else, and it worked out really, really well. So I'm very happy. I think we achieved our goal, got our permit, got the Priscilla in the lake. Did what we wanted to do with the milfoil, and it was cross your fingers and wait after that. So.
Right. Well, we had the permit was a target. The funding was a target. The community was very supportive. We didn't run into any obstacles with the community. We had questions, obviously. We had to educate. We had to enlighten. Some of the concerns we had were, what do we do after this treatment? What do we do with the water and all that? Which, again, I don't think we kept any secrets, or we certainly kept our line in.
We've been very transparent from day one, and I think. And we had tremendous support from people around the lake in funding. Our capital campaign run by Dennis Bond and his committee did a great job in getting the word out, and people were very generous. And I think that that was a big plus for us because the town supported us, the people around the lake supported us, and getting the money to get that first treatment in there was a big plus for us, because if we didn't, we weren't able to do that, you can't take care of the problem, which was the milfoil.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing with the town, obviously we're going to be doing some reporting back to the town as required and as promised. The results have been outstanding. I'll take a second to talk about the results because, within a couple of weeks after that treatment was done in third week of August.
Right.
Third week of August, we saw the milfoil, obviously before that, rampant around the lake. We told you all that in our annual meeting, and we did the 40% littoral limit or cap. And within a couple of weeks, that behemoth was eradicated for the most part. We had trouble finding it.
Yeah. I think that also, a lot of people, you talk about this problem and they say, well, is it really as bad as everybody's saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think just before we started treating it, people could see the milfoil laying on top of the water in front of their camps and saying, boy, now I've got to go through that to fish and boat and swim and all of that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people finally realized that this was a major problem. Getting the Priscilla in the lake was a huge plus. It did eradicate, as far as we know, a good percentage of what it was supposed to eradicate. We still have managed to find a few plants here and there. We appear to have found a small patch in the lake, but people remember we're only supposed to do 40% of the littoral zone, and that doesn't cover the whole lake. And even with that, the treatment of the Priscillicore did kill apparently much of the milfoil that was out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right now it's looking very good. The expectations were that we would still find some sections of milfoil here and there around the lake because we weren't treating the whole lake, and that when the Solitude went out and did their rake test, they didn't find a whole lot of anything. No roots, no plants, no stems, nothing. They didn't find a whole lot. But since then, and in order to really do a thorough job, you got to have divers in the water. So
Yeah.
until we get divers in the water, we can't say, "Oh, we've got everything. We took care of all the plants that are out there." You can't say that. We still, at some point in time, are probably going to have to do some more treating. But right now, we've managed to do a pretty good job of clearing up a lot of the big spots that were a real concern.
Oh boy, yeah. And we've obviously been keeping an eye on it since then. I was out a couple of times in various sections of the lake with my kayak, and last week was just summer-like and very calm, so it was very able to see into the water. And I did spot some of those plants. And again, we have to confirm if it was native or Eurasian, because the native species is obviously you don't necessarily need or want to kill that off. And I know Kim Jensen was down here with the DEC with a crew just the other day, and she said that all of the indications to the native species of plants, while some did take a hit, as expected, looks like everything that was supposed to be hit was hit hard, and the things that weren't supposed to be harmed came through okay. So that's it for the milfoil discussion. Obviously we have some more post-op work to do, and we'll keep you all informed, but we still will need funding. I know that we keep saying that over and over, but this is a long-term gig, right?
Right. This isn't something where you get one shot at it, and if you don't take care of it, you're stuck. We're going to have to get some more money. We're going to have to continue to fundraise.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to continue to ask people to support the program. Hopefully, the town of Derby will have some more ARPA funds available, and maybe they will be able to help us a little bit there. And if that happens, along with the support from people around the lake, we'll be ready for another shot at it, depending upon where we find milfoil, if there's still some in the lake. Keep in mind, the intention was not to kill all the milfoil in the lake the first treatment. And it appears that we've got a pretty good chunk of it, and we're still going to have some more left. So we just need to get down there with divers and check and find out where it is. So if we have to go treat again, we're going to know exactly where we have to go to treat.
And not that I can relate this directly to the milfoil treatment, but I got to tell you that when I went out fishing at the end of August, early September, and even this past week when it was so nice, I caught bass every time I went out. And they said the fishing would get better, but so there's a little anecdote there. The fishing got better, at least for me, and I don't go out very long.
Well, there are people still out there. Matter of fact, there's somebody out there today fishing.
I saw that.
People are still out fishing, and they're catching stuff. So
yeah,
we haven't talked to anybody yet to know what they're catching, but I know they're catching. There've been quite a few boats out there over the last week. So
sure.
Especially with the good weather.
Well, let's talk about engagement. Okay, we've obviously had a number of things that we had planned at the beginning of the year that happened. I mean, we had a social event, we had a July 4th parade, we had an annual meeting. So how do you think all that went down?
Well, I think that, one of my goals, some time ago was to get a program together where we would have people around the lake get together at a social event and communicate. Some people don't know who is in the camp 2 or 3 camps down from theirs. And so we put together a committee. Jerry Marsh or so has got a great committee. We had a second annual social event at the beach house this year. A great event. last year was super. This year was even better. More and more people coming. The weather was great. We had music and conversation, and to me, it was a home run. I mean, I think Jerry and the committee and organizing that and putting it together made it so much easier for people to come and sit and relax and visit and talk about the lake and other things happening in their lives. So it was a great event, a great activity, and I'm looking forward to having those more and more every as we go through the years.
Sure. Absolutely. July 4th parade.
Right,
Always a fun
July,
time.
right. Yeah, we had our boat in the parade, and it looked great. A lot of comments from the crowd as we drove by. The music and the weather held out very well. We had a good day. Got a little warm for a while, but I think everybody had a great day. It was a little bit shorter parade than in previous years because of the threat of heavy rain, and but things worked out, and we had a great day. Our float looked good. It represented the association very well, and we were very happy to do that, and we look forward to doing it again in the years to come. I remember one of the first parades I did, we had one of the little flatbed trailers with a blue post and all the ribbons hanging around, so this was quite an improvement, having the pontoon boat with the flags and so on, so it was really good.
We didn't leave a single scrap of melted candy in any of your seats, so thank you for donating your boat for that morning.
No problem. I didn't find any candy at all. You guys did a good job cleaning it up after.
Yeah, so that was cool. Very good. Annual meeting. It seems to me that over the last couple of years, you've been doing less and less presentations over the last couple of years at these annual meetings.
So my philosophy has always been to surround myself with good people, and that way I don't have to work so hard, because all of those wonderful people do their job and they perform well, and that's just another example of different committees getting up and giving their reports and telling people what they've been doing around the lake. And this year, normally, we'll have people come in from the state and do presentations, but in the last few years, we've been really having our own people do presentations.
Sure.
This year was no different. As you well know, you highlighted the Milfoil Committee presentation, and which resulted in a lot of questions from those people there who, you're on the fringes of what's going on. You're looking at our website and following information there, and you're talking to people you meet to find out what's going on. It was a great opportunity for those present to ask questions, which they did.
Sure.
And they got a lot of very good information because it was coming straight from the horse's mouth. And you and Ross and TJ did a great job doing the presentation, putting things together. I don't think TJ was able to make it, but
yeah, he had a wedding to go to. What a slacker!
Yeah. What can I say?
Hi, TJ.
So, but you guys did a great job of the presentation. Very informative. Contained a lot of information that people were looking for, and so to me it was very, very successful. And I think that's one of the reasons. A lot of people, I think, were wondering, well, is this really going to happen? Is anything really going to take place? And I think when they saw the enormous amount of work that your committee had done, Ross did a great job chairing that committee. You guys worked day and night. I can't tell people how many times you met, because I don't know for sure, because you met so many times. And I know my emails were lighting up the channels with you guys going back and forth and letting everybody know what's going on. So I'm so pleased with what has happened this summer. Everything has worked out well, and at least we're heading in the right direction.
I had said this at the annual meeting, and in a kind of an off-script context, I said, this lake has what other lakes may not have. It has us. It has expertise. It has dedication, enthusiasm. And, Russ himself Russ Ogilvy, that is, he's a retired engineer. In fact, a shout out to Russ and WCAX TV, because we were able to get them up here. Alyssa Borden back in the end of August, and his contraption that he was using to take water samples without having to get in the water. I was impressed with that when I first saw it, so I had to get her up here, and she came up here back in before Labor Day. It was the end of August, and so she was featured. If you haven't seen that video, go to the website or the social channels. I put it there. Also, our YouTube channel. By the way, subscribe and follow us on those channels. So yeah, we've been on CAX TV. Some of my photos got on CAX. It was in the backdrop too, so they know who we are now.
Yes, and I think that one of the things that I've noticed, I've been on the lake for 45 years, and I noticed that particularly in the last 10 or 15 years, that people are communicating more and more with each other. And I think this year that I was so pleased with the people on our lake who, when we had the flooding problem,
Oh boy.
I couldn't believe the number of people who were out in the water helping neighbors save their boats, save their docks. Things were floating down the lake, kayaks and canoes, and it was just an incredible example of neighbor helping neighbor. And the pictures, I can remember one picture in particular where somebody's dock had got all discombobulated, and there were 4 or 5 people out in the water up to their chest and armpits, pulling on the dock and putting things back together. And this was happening all over the lake. And so I'm just so pleased that the communications that we've been able to develop over the last 5-10 years has been a big part of that. And I have to give you a tremendous amount of credit for what you have done with our websites and so on and so forth, getting the word out to people, the programs that you have on there, gets the information out. And now people, they're not strangers anymore. They know who's on the lake. They know who lives next door to them. And we have activities such as the social event, where they can go to and meet each other. So I think that the little videos that you show, the interviewing people, you become more than a picture, more than just a voice. This is somebody that we actually know now. So I have to give you a lot of credit for opening up the lake to everybody that's on the lake. And so to me, the communications that we've been able to develop have been a big, big plus in getting support from people and getting people to help neighbor to neighbor. I was just so impressed with things that went on during that flooding scenario that we had, that just seeing people out. Anybody need any help? If they need any help, give us a call. Just fantastic. I was really impressed with that.
Oh, absolutely. And one of my goals for not just Milfoil, but the entire scene here is to make Salem Lake a model for other lakes to follow in terms of information, in terms of community, in terms of engagement. The Milfoil was obviously a big target. It's probably the biggest one in the history of our lake, and short of the glacier that formed it so many years ago, before my time. And, in opening the channels up and opening the communication lines up does make it more accessible to people who are only here for a week at a time, or people who are no longer here, who can't be here because maybe they've gotten, they've gotten on in years and they're not here as often as they used to be. Or maybe they're just renters who just fell in love with it, and the week is it for them, but they still want to hold on to it. We're in touch with people in Minnesota, in California. I grew up with a gal in my summers here who was my age. We're a week apart in our birthdays, and she's out in California and is tracking. Grew up here in Derby Line, right on the border, and hi Arlette, and she totally tracks with what we're doing here. So, again, I'll put the social media plug in there. If you're not on Facebook, that's okay. You're not alone. But if you want to follow us on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We have our own website. Everything you see in our website is on these other social lines. This very interview will be on all of that. So, use that. And if you want to be featured, if you have a family story to tell, talk to me. Reach out. I'll put my link in the description below. We do want to hear from you. Everybody around this lake has history, has a story, has anecdotes, has a great fish trophy to hold up. Right, so that's what it's all there for, and let's have some fun.
I think one of the things that excuse me, amazes me is that even with all of this, even the increase in communication and so on, we still have a lot of people out there that are not members, that have not paid their membership dues. There are people that have been on the lake for a number of years that still haven't paid their dues to become a member, and all of you need to understand that we've done tremendous work up to this point, but it doesn't stop here. We don't sit back in our easy chair and say, "Oh, wow, the work is done," because the work just continues to increase. And to do that, we need supportive people out there. They're $10, $20 for dues. Might not seem like a whole lot, but when you have everybody together that are paying their dues, participating, donating, and supporting the association, those are the things that we need, to keep this going. We might have milfoil at bay at the present time, but that doesn't mean it's going to be at bay forever. We're looking at maybe doing hand pulling again next year, maybe having doing Priscillicor again the year after. So that's going to continue to need your support financially, physically, emotionally, whatever way. We need everybody we can get around the lake and around the area to support us. So I would ask you to please go in your checkbook and look and see if you have paid your dues this year. Did you pay your dues last year? I'm sure a lot of people forget. Oh my God, I didn't pay my dues last year. It's not too late to pay them now. So we just ask you that we need your support in more ways than one. And paying your dues and being a member and being a supportive member, one who participates and takes part, is so critical and crucial to our success.
We make it so easy. You don't even have to write a checkbook. You pull out your checkbook and do that thing with a pen. You can actually go right to our website, and we have donation links right there. So you can do it electronically via PayPal. Don't worry, it is secure. It's not gonna, hack into the Pentagon or anything like that, or your own account. But we have a pledge program for our milfoil program. So all of that's there on the site. So you're absolutely right. We need that sustained, consistent approach. I mean, other than a great parking spot, I don't get paid. You get paid?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of. My payment is a healthy, robust lake with a thriving, vibrant community, and that's what I want my kids to have, and their kids, and just keep paying it forward.
Well, as my wife would tell any of you, that this lake is our favorite place, and we've been up here 45 years. Some of you have been here longer than that. Your families have been here longer than that. You know how miraculous it is to come up here on a hot day and go out and get on your boat, or go out swimming, or just sit on your deck or out on the front lawn and just take a deep breath, and it's just a tremendous place to be. So, we do everything we can, and we don't ask for any money back. We don't say, hey, we do this out of the goodness of our hearts, all of us, that volunteer and do work on the lake. So we just need more of you. There are people out there who have been here and just not aware of what has been going on. That with all the communications and all of the social media material we've been putting out, they're getting to be more and more aware of what is actually happening. So we're just, speak up, contact any one of us and say, what can I do? How can I help? We're here.
Absolutely.
And not just the 6 months during the summer. You can communicate with us any time of the year, 12 months of the year.
Hey, how cool would it be for you to look at some fresh video content that doesn't just have me in it in February, in December, in February, in March, when being at the lake is probably the last thing in our minds until it starts to warm up, and we see some video interviews or maybe even other webcasts that will be live. Hint, hint, that's something else I have in mind. So all that said, and I think we can put that to bed for the time being, but You know, it's been a good year. It's been an outstanding year. Even the weather was, okay, but hey, that's Vermont. You know, who wrote it? Was it Robert Frost or one of the great poets said?
A road well traveled.
Well, no, if you don't like the weather in Vermont, wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I might have the attribution wrong on that, but tell you what, look it up and correct me and get back to me on that as the challenge. Roger, it's been an absolute pleasure. You know, I hate to say that this is it for us, but I'm looking out at my dock right now going, yeah, it's clean and nice now, but in another week it's coming in, unfortunately, and I know you're out of here in within a week or so. So, but you're heading back to much warmer climate. I'm heading back to somewhat less warmer climate.
That doesn't mean that we're going to be out of reach.
No.
You know, we can still get on the phone and still do whatever we need to do to communicate with each other. Last winter we were on the phone with each other all the time and keeping everybody aware of what's going on. So we're reachable.
Absolutely. So that's it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great winter, and you folks too.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.